think being on Broadway is all glitz and glamour? Well, think again.
One of the fun things about being a parent and working on a Broadway show is talking to the other parents.
You would think doing 8 shows a week with the same people and rehearsals that you would just like want to separate work from home, but it's not the case. I mean, Mamma Mia is one of the best places to work, and it's such a family.
It's really nice to have other cast members that have kids because only they can understand how hard it is.
Everybody comes in with their stories, sometimes for the purpose of just laughing and getting it out, and sometimes for help.
I think with the other mothers in the cast, other parents, I think with other parents in the cast, that we all support each other very well. And we like to get together and have our kids know each other.
If I have free time, I like to call up David and Jen and have Sadie and Wayne come over, or go to a museum or go to a playground and have the kids play together.
Sometimes on Thursday we have rehearsal, but we don't today. So what we decided to have all our kids get together and play. We also sort of trade off, like Jen has given us toys for Sadie, because Sadie falls in love with certain toys when she plays in Jen's room at the theater, and then we bring them home. And then I end up giving clothes that Sadie has grown out of to Melania. So we recycle. We're a green cast that way.
They tell me their fun stories about their little ones, and I go, oh, I remember those days. And that's how we dealt with. What school are your kids going to? How did you handle that? So we do a lot of sharing of kid stuff.
David and I will always commiserate and say, oh, you drove me crazy today, and this happened today, and oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. And we'll always talk about it and how their school was or what's happening in their lives, because they are similar in age, so we're going through the same things at the same time. I am grateful to go to the theater every night because I get some adult time.
Right.
That I'm, it's like seeing your friends every night, Because you can't see your friends in real life. You can't see your old friends. Rarely do you see your friends. I mean, I don't get to see them.
Right. I have gone out with your friends a lot, actually. And they have a really good time hanging out.
Yeah. The one day off that you have, you're gonna spend with your family. You're not gonna go see your friends. And if I did just go see my friends, my husband would be mad. So there's never enough hours in the day, never.
I'm able to get advice from, Jen and Irene about how they're doing it, how they're making it happen, and David as well. I mean, it's just such a support system to have that in the theater. What time do you guys get to bed?
Like, last night I went to bed at midnight, but normally it's like 1.
Yeah.
I usually go to bed at 1.
Yeah.
Me too.
How'd you get those on by yourself? Sadie help you?
No, I did it all around myself.
I went back to Mamma Mia when she was 5 months, just turned 5 months. So I was still breastfeeding. It was really difficult.
Did you pump at the theater?
I pumped at the theater. I pumped when I got home. I mean, honestly, it was like the hardest part so far. Now that she's 2.5, it's so much easier. This is a breeze compared to what that was. So my perspective is all different now. I'm like, oh, this is nothing.
You don't have a lot of babysitters.
No, I don't have a sitter.
I have 7 different people.
Wow.
Well, because if someone's not available, I need to find some,
Right.
I'm always going through 7 phone calls to get somebody to watch Wayne. I have a lot of sitters that are actors, so when they get jobs, I'm out of a sitter and I have to start all over again. I've lost 2 sitters this year to shows. One of them is in Evita and the other one had to move to Singapore. And those were my you know, reliable sitters.
Okay, let's hear a song.
You guys gonna do a show for us? You putting on a show? Are you sure?
Can we hear a little Dancing Queen?
Let's sing some Dancing Queen.
Wait.
Anybody can be that guy. Not as young and easy. Oh, I like that move. That was a good move. That was
You
good.
are the dancing queen, young. Oh no. Only 17. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
I definitely enjoy being in the ensemble. I mean, because I haven't experienced the limelight, so
Well, you have, but just not
yeah.
in a principal role.
Not in the principal
Yeah.
role. I mean, as an understudy, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice, but I really enjoy just going to work and getting to the dressing room, and I don't have to worry so much. It's sort of like I'm in the back, and if I'm having an off day, nobody's really going to be able to tell. I can cover it up.
One of the challenges, I think, of being on the Broadway schedule as an actor is planning your year, because you don't know how long you're going to be in the show.
My contract is up in June, and they give you no notice of when they'll let you know if you get renewed or not. So it's a waiting game. If my job isn't gonna end, then I can't really afford Wayne's school. So it means a lot of changes within our family. Thankfully, I have a husband to help me support me, but if I didn't, then it would just be so stressful, and I'd be fraught all the time, wondering, am I gonna have a job in a month? Am I gonna be able to afford food on the table? It's hard to be in this business and have a family, and I think a lot of people just choose not to. What do you think, David?
I think some of the people are just undateable in our show. No.
David.
No, I'm joking. Cut it
Oh!
out.
One of the great things about working on a Broadway show, which I've experienced many times, is that the people at the show become like a family. And we love and hate each other. My staff works for me, but I also think of them as coworkers because we're all in this together. I rely on my assistant. When I'm not remembering things, he can remember things. We kind of share the duties of supervising. We have to know what each other does in case either of us aren't there. On Broadway, I think across the board, we have that kind of feeling for each other and desire to make it, the show must go on, we'll make it go on, but if you have an emergency, go take care of your emergency. When my son was in 6th grade, my daughter would have been in 2nd grade, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was a very, very challenging time for everybody. I didn't hide it from my children, I told them directly. Because they were very young, I think Michelle didn't quite understand what it was, and my son actually was giggling because I said the word breast. So I think it took them a while to understand that it was a very serious illness. We had seen an episode of Degrassi where the teacher who had cancer, as a fundraiser, had kids bid on shaving his head, and my son and I thought that was very cool, so we decided that the kids would shave my head before my hair fell out. So we had a day here where they shaved my head, and it was absolutely devastating. I didn't face the mirror, and I thought I was going to look like Telly Savalas when I came out, and I didn't. And I wept, and they wept, and it was really one of those moments that we'll all remember. It really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a very healing thing, and it was kind of very sad. But we weathered it. My kids were very patient during that time. I had a lot of help from friends. My approach to it was, breast cancer is getting to be like a common cold, and they know how to handle it. I was very confident. I was very dark in my emails to my friends, but it helped to heal me, my humor. I would write things like, ooh, I second that key motion, or breast intentions. But my very first one, At the bottom I said, for those of you who find these things interesting, the font that I used for this letter was terminal. And of course I had certain friends who called back totally devastated that I said that, but there were those friends out there that knew I was just poking my finger at the cancer, you know? I find that's the way to deal with life, is through humor, even if it is dark humor. When I had my cancer, I really felt grateful that I had a job to go to, that I could get outside of myself, get out of my house, and go to work. I mean, there couldn't be a better place to go to work than to be on a Broadway show when you have cancer. Everybody is there for you. It's like your second family, especially if you're on a long-running show. We celebrate births and deaths and marriages and everything with each other. After I had cancer and I was kind of in a fog, we had a new girl going on as Sophie. I had completely forgotten to fit her in a wedding gown. And she was going on that day. Talk about wardrobe malfunction. It was horrible. I was devastated. I was embarrassed because it's my job to make sure it's all there when it needs to be there. Luckily, we had 3 other dresses in for the other understudies and we were able to fit her. And luckily it worked out. My assistant was trying to make sure that everything happened correctly while I was going through my cancer, and it slipped through the cracks, and you know, he was also devastated. So it was terrible. Hi. We've had many people with cancer on our show who have left for illness and come back healed, and it's really been a marvelous, marvelous place to be ill. Would I want to do it again? No. Did I learn a lot? Yes. Did it change my life? A little bit. But I still am just the kind of person that just goes forward and doesn't look back and just says, look, I got to get to work, I got to heal, I've got to take the kids to school, I still have to cook a meal. You just do it.
The joy in your face is what I want. So even if you don't have the steps, as long as you're happy and you're showing that, it'll be all good. Everyone will be happy with you.